Hi, and welcome to this quick tool review. This time around I have an interesting tool that was donated to the channel by a company named Vevor, V-E-V-O-R, and they reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to evaluate some of their products. And some of what they sell is hydraulics, and so I was very interested because I got a fascination with hydraulics. If you remember back a ways ago, I worked on this Enerpack cylinder and replaced the seals and made it work again. And Enerpack makes the very equivalent model to this. This is a 4-inch throw 30-ton hydraulic ram. The Enerpack one costs around $2,000, something in that range. The Vevor is around $200, so 1/10 the price. So I'm very curious to see what kind of quality you get with that kind of savings. Obviously, it leaves a lot of people skeptical, but I've got to say that in recent years, I have been pleasantly surprised more often than not by the quality tools coming out of China. They may not have the super polish of a high-end brand, but for their price, they tend to be, well, a lot of them anyways, tend to be surprisingly high quality. So I thought I'd take a look at this one and evaluate it. So I've got this Enerpack. I have an Enerpack hand pump. And we're going to see if I can make this work with the Enerpack hand pump. Although with hydraulic fittings, I know there's some experts out there that probably know a whole lot more than I do, but I got to tell you, hydraulic fittings, there seem like there's more fittings than there are letters in the alphabet. I looked online and there's like kits to work on heavy machinery, and they come with like 20 different adapters. And I don't even think that includes the Enerpack one. So I don't know what to say about it other than that's crazy. The industry really needs to standardize on something. Maybe I'm speaking out of my rear on this one. Maybe there is some common standards, but I got to tell you, when I'm looking around, it's not easy to run across. So any of you experts out there, happy to hear feedback. Let's open this guy up. The first thing I want to say from looking at this thing, it's the best packaged item I've ever seen from China. You can see that it was manhandled. This thing weighs like 30 pounds and it was manhandled, and all that you see is one corner slightly crushed. This thing is really impressively packaged. By far, hands down, the best package from China I have ever seen. Now, it went from China to the company. I believe this guy came from Oregon, and then they shipped it to me. I got it within a couple days of me agreeing to review their product. So it got handled by U.S. Postal Service or UPS, I forget which. But it survived the shipping amazingly well intact. You can see how heavy this is. 30 pounds rattling around inside here. All right, so let's remove the tape here and see if it opens up easily. Looks like the top should pop off, and it does. Holy cow. Oh, and look at the thick padded wall. This is brilliant. So they construct their own box. They use corner pieces and some reinforced cardboard sides. That is just brilliant packaging. If nothing else, I'm going to give them a thumbs up just for that. But let's take a look at the product itself. Oh, it's so heavy. So this is a hollow shaft hydraulic ram, 30 ton, 100 millimeter stroke, which is about 4 inches, from Vevor. I believe they have it made for them. Has an adjustable part on the top, like some of the other hydraulic rams I've seen. It's hollow, which is kind of neat. So that means you can put something aligned in the center of it and drive that. Oh, it's complete. Oh, that's really interesting. I wonder what the use case is for this. It's hollow all the way through. So this goes out the back of the jack. That's really cool. Some residue of hydraulic fluid on the bottom. Now, what do you think the odds are that this matches the Enerpack? Say slim to no chance. And I'd say that's no chance, but let's just verify that. So here's an Enerpack female right here, and not even close. Of course not. Now, will the threads match? That's a whole nother question. As you'd expect, it was very tight and challenging to loosen. And these threads, they look pretty close to 3/8 American Standard threads. What do you think the odds are of that? Because here's my Interpack clone. You think it'll mate up? Wouldn't that be awesome? Hey, look at that. All right. We can use it. Okay, I'm going to put some Teflon tape on here because that's what was on here before. I am not familiar with all the rules with hydraulic fittings. I don't know if Teflon tape is a no-no or okay. They piled on a ton of it in the back here, not towards the front. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. Please give me feedback if I am doing something inappropriate. So we're going to give this guy a shot. These hydraulic fittings have non-tapered threads. So I'm going to sort of duplicate what they did and put a thick amount of Teflon towards the back, so maybe it squeezes in and makes a seal. I'm not sure what again, I am not super familiar with what you do with hydraulic stuff. And I guess that makes it a little bit risky because hydraulic stuff, you know, can be like, this is designed for maximum 10,000 PSI, or at least a lot of the pumps are designed to generate a maximum of 10,000 PSI. All right, so we got to tighten this on the rest of the way. So the threads are extremely close to each other. The Interpack parts are 18 threads per inch and non-tapered. This guy is not quite 18 threads per inch. If I go for the first 3 or 4 threads, it'll engage almost all the way. I don't know if you can see that. But then I went and looked for a metric equivalent and I could not find one. That is very frustrating. It is a weird pitch thread. This metric part here, or whatever it is, doesn't match any of the metric pitches on my Brown & Sharp metric pitch gauge, which is really weird. It's close to 1.4, but not quite, which is the closest thing to 18 threads per inch of this guy. Like I said, I can get like 4 or 5 threads on this guy to engage. So what I'm going to try and do is put some Teflon on this guy and see if that will make enough of a seal. I have a suspicion it's going to leak. I do not know where to get these threads. I don't even know what they are. I can't qualify them, or quantify them rather, which is really weird. I don't know if you can tell, but this guy threads on surprisingly easily too. So, and like, I can get 4 or 5 full turns on this before it engages. So the threads are very close in pitch. I don't know if there's any possibility they're gonna mate appropriately. I might be just totally screwing myself here. Okay, well, let's see what happens if this doesn't leak like a sieve. So I've got a manual pump here and we're doing a no load test. And that seems to work just fine. Sorry, I had a leak over here. Yeah, I got quite a leak going here on the Interpack side. So we had a problem over at the Interpack side, and you can see that the O-ring is missing. And that's because it's actually more than just an O-ring. If you look on the replacement, it's an O-ring with a Teflon piece in front of it to make the seal. So we have replaced that, and hopefully now we won't get the half cup hydraulic fluid on the floor. So it works as promised. Fixed the leak problem, which is good. Glad I had those spares. And it looks like the spring retraction works fine. No leaks on this guy, but this is under no load, so we're going to try a load next. To build a load fixture, I bought this high strength grade 5 1-inch rod. So that's 6 foot length of high strength bar. I'm going to cut in half. Here's the spherical washer set, and one side has the male, one side has the female side, and it allows them to rotate so that you don't have to worry so much about a slight misalignment. You can keep the forces equal, which is what I'm really concerned about, because we'll be talking 66,000 pounds potentially. So I want to be very careful. Got some extra thick grade 8 washers, and of course grade 8 nuts. All right, we're starting with the 25-year-old Enerpac piston that was on a pipe bender to the brand new Enerpac cable, or hose rather, to the Vevor 30100 cylinder, 30-ton, that's metric ton cylinder. Above that, I have a piece of alloy steel as a spreader since it's hollow cylinder, to my 100,000-pound load cell, to a 1.5 inch thick piece of plate steel. That's this guy. The bottom two are cast iron, so I've coupled them together. Those are each 1.5 inch. That's 3 inches of cast iron down there with the cylindrical bolts so that they will even the pressure out as much as possible. The output load cell goes to a load cell interface, and then the values will be read here on the display. We're currently preloaded at 70 pounds. You might notice that the pump is around the corner from my lathe, and that's because I'm going to be hiding behind the lathe in case something breaks. When you got forces like this, it really needs to be done safely. Also, I don't know if there'll be a hydraulic leak because the threads aren't exactly right, and Teflon is, I think, not an appropriate choice because it's only good for 300 psi, so I don't think that's going to work. I might have some high pressure leaks there, and high pressure hydraulic fluid can also be dangerous. You can get hydraulic injection, among other things. All right, so here we go with the test. $2,000 pounds, 4,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds, 17,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds. I'm not hearing any sounds coming from the apparatus, which is really good. There's a little bit of back leaking into the hydraulic pump, and that doesn't surprise me because this Enerpac pump, like I said, is at least 25 years old. I took it out of the trash. It was a pipe bender for the 40 shop, the electric shop on my lot. And so I replaced the seals on the piston side, but I didn't do anything with the pump side. And there we are at 55,000. No sounds from anything, which is good news. There's 65,000 pounds. 66.9, no problem reaching its expected pressure, and we're back. Well, that was a successful test. I'm very pleased with that. There's my whole setup. 125,000 psi 1-inch steel rods with 1.5 inch steel plate on top, 2 1.5 inch pieces of cast iron on the bottom. Those were stage weights around work. The Vevor piston performed wonderfully. No leaks, no stuttering, very smooth action, even at full pressure. I think I could have gone more. I just didn't want to risk it. Before we go, here's a last look at the Vevor RCH30100 cylinder. Output tonnage, 30 tons. That's 30,000 kilograms, which 2.2 pounds per kilogram means 66,000 pounds. We got there easily. 4-inch stroke, hollow tube all the way through. Threaded part on the top that you can either use as an adjuster or you can make your own custom pieces to fit in here for whatever your project is. I think this might make a really good 30-ton hydraulic press. They have a 100-ton or 50-ton at least version of this, I'm pretty sure. I had to put an Enerpac fitting on here because that's my pump, but the pump, the fitting that came with it probably works with what Vevor sells. They sell a bunch of hydraulic pumps. They sell a 12 volt, 110 volt hydraulic pump in multiple variations. They also sell a air pump based one. So you have your options there. And those come with hoses and fittings. Presumably they match this one. This is 18 threads per inch. This one is, I have no idea. It doesn't match my standard pitch gauge. It's very close to 18. It doesn't match my metric. The closest metric to that is 1.4. It doesn't match 1.4. So I have no idea what it is. So anyone has any ideas, please give me feedback in the comments. But all in all, for $209 versus $2,000 for the Enerpac, I'm really impressed. I think it's a nice product here, and I give it a thumbs up. I am not a super experienced hydraulic person, but I'm very interested in the subject, so I keep reading up on it. And if you don't use this every day, if you use this, a few times a year, this is probably absolutely perfect for you. If you use it every day, you might have stronger opinions one way or the other, because I don't know what the longevity of this guy's in life, like how many strokes this can go before the seals wear out, and can you replace the seals? With Enerpac, You could replace the seals because Enerpac sells them to you at exorbitant quantities of money, but they are available. I don't know about this one. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know how standardized the hydraulic industry is. From what little I've seen, it isn't terribly. Like I said, I saw some hydraulic pressure kits that came with 15 different adapters, and that didn't even include this one, as far as I could tell. So I think the industry is crazy. They need to standardize on one standard set of connectors that everybody uses, but you know, that's the way industry works. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Hope to see you next time.